First Contact and Ultimatum. The silence in the Mauna Kea Observatory shattered when Dr. Rachel Chen's monitoring equipment erupted with activity. Her late-night vigil, previously filled with routine data collection, transformed into the most significant moment in human history. The signal was unlike anything she'd ever seen. Structured, precise, and definitely artificial. "This can't be right," she whispered, fingers flying across her keyboard. The pattern repeated with mathematical precision, too perfect to be natural phenomena. Rachel's heart raced as she cross-referenced the signal against known astronomical objects and human-made satellites. Nothing matched. Within hours, observatories worldwide confirmed her discovery. Something massive was approaching Earth, decelerating from impossible speeds. The scientific community buzzed with excitement and fear, but Rachel felt only dread. The object's trajectory showed purpose. They weren't just passing by. The world's governments scrambled to respond, but before any consensus could be reached, the Nexarians made their presence known. Their message bypassed every encryption, appearing simultaneously on screens worldwide. The being that appeared bore little resemblance to humanity's imagined aliens. Its crystalline body refracted light in hypnotic patterns, and multiple sensory organs arranged in geometric patterns studied Earth's inhabitants with cold calculation. "People of Earth," it began, its words translating perfectly into every human language simultaneously. "I am Sovereign Commander Vexthor of the Nexarian Dominion. Your world exists within space we have claimed for expansion. Your species shows promise, but your development is inefficient and chaotic. We offer you integration into our dominion. Submit, and we will guide your evolution along proper paths. Resist, and we will simply take what we require." The message continued, detailing terms of surrender that amounted to complete subjugation. Humanity would be relegated to controlled habitation zones, their resources harvested for Nexarian use, their future determined by alien masters who viewed them as little more than promising pets. They gave Earth 48 hours to respond. Global panic ensued. Stock markets crashed. Religious leaders proclaimed both doom and salvation. Military forces worldwide went to high alert, though their weapons seemed pointless against vessels that could cross interstellar space. But in a secure facility beneath the Swiss Alps, a different response was forming. Dr. Elena Santos, head of the United Earth Defense Council's Advanced Weapons Division, stood before representatives from every major nation. The screens behind her displayed data that would have seemed impossible just years earlier. "They think we're primitive," she declared, her voice steady despite the weight of humanity's future on her shoulders. "They've scanned our visible technology, our public infrastructure, our conventional military capabilities. But they don't know about Project Prometheus." The room stirred. Project Prometheus had been the best-kept secret in human history. A cooperative effort between the world's leading scientists, hidden from public view. Elena's next words changed everything. 3 years ago, we achieved quantum consciousness integration. 2 years ago, we developed stable micro-singularity containment. Last year, we successfully tested the first consciousness-guided quantum weapon system. We've been preparing for something like this, even if we didn't know it. Admiral James Chen, Rachel's father and commander of Earth's combined naval forces, leaned forward. "You're saying we can fight?" Elena's smile was fierce. "I'm saying we can win, but we'll need everyone. Every nation, every resource, every brilliant mind humanity has to offer." They gave us 48 hours, thinking we'd spend it in panic. Let's show them how humanity responds to threats. The next 2 days transformed Earth. Ancient rivalries dissolved in the face of extinction. Military commands unified. Scientific knowledge flowed freely between nations. In secret bases worldwide, weapons and vehicles that defied conventional physics were brought out of development and into deployment. The Nexarians watched from orbit, their scans showing chaos and fear spreading across the planet. But they missed the quantum-shielded facilities where humanity's real power was gathering. They didn't detect the consciousness-linked pilots connecting to vessels that could manipulate space itself. They had no way of knowing that their ultimatum had given Earth exactly what it needed, a reason to reveal its full potential. When the deadline arrived, Sovereign Commander Vexthor opened a channel to Earth, expecting either surrender or futile defiance. Instead, he received a response that would be remembered for generations. "Humanity has considered your offer." Elena's voice rang clear across the quantum communication channel. "We reject it entirely. You threatened our home, our freedom, our future. You assumed we were primitive because we chose to appear so. That was your first mistake. Your second was giving us time to prepare. Your third—" She paused as signals began registering massive energy signatures rising from Earth's surface. "Your third mistake was threatening humanity at all." Across the planet, hidden launch facilities activated. Quantum dry ships, piloted by consciousness-merged humans whose brains operated at speeds that would seem impossible to the Nexarians, rose to meet the alien fleet. They didn't carry conventional weapons. They carried humanity's fury, encoded in technology that had been waiting for this moment. The greatest battle in human history was about to begin, and the Nexarians were about to learn why you should never underestimate humanity's capacity for innovation, or its response to threats against its existence. The hidden arsenal. Deep within the quantum-shielded chambers of Project Prometheus, Captain Sarah Halvorsen faced the most advanced training simulator ever created by human hands. Her consciousness merged seamlessly with the quantum dry ship's systems, the neural interface translating thought into action at speeds that would have seemed impossible just years ago. Neural sync at optimal levels. Dr. Santo's voice echoed through her heightened awareness. "Show me what humanity's best can do, Captain." The simulation sprang to life. Holographic Nexarian vessels materialized around her, their crystalline forms glowing with otherworldly energy. Sarah didn't just pilot her ship, she became it. Her thoughts translated instantly into complex maneuvers, the quantum drive responding to her consciousness as naturally as breathing. In the observation room, Elena Santos watched with Admiral Chen as Sarah's vessel danced through the alien formation. The ship moved in ways that defied conventional physics, utilizing quantum tunneling and micro-singularity manipulation to appear almost everywhere at once. "How many pilots have reached this level?" Chen asked, studying the performance metrics. 300 worldwide. Elena replied, "All of them achieving synchronization rates we thought impossible 6 months ago." The human brain, when properly interfaced with quantum systems, is capable of processing speeds that rival any alien computer. But the pilots were just one part of humanity's hidden arsenal. In laboratories spanning every continent, scientists had been pushing the boundaries of what was possible. The Nexarians' ultimatum had simply accelerated the revelation of these advances. Dr. Kenzo Tanaka led the Admiral through the quantum forge beneath Mount Fuji. Traditional metals and alloys were never going to be enough. He explained, gesturing to the shimmering material being formed through quantum manipulation. "This is what we call quantum crystalline mesh. It adapts its molecular structure in response to consciousness input from the pilots." The material gleamed with an inner light, its surface seeming to shift and flow like liquid while maintaining perfect structural integrity. Combined with the micro-singularity drives, these ships can withstand forces that would tear conventional matter apart. In orbit, disguised as debris and defunct satellites, humanity's first line of defense was already in place. Quantum consciousness repeaters, developed by Dr. Maya Patel's team in Mumbai, would allow Earth's pilots to maintain neural synchronization even at extreme distances. "They think they're facing primitive chemical rockets and crude eye," Maya explained during the global defense briefing. "They don't understand that we've moved beyond traditional computing entirely. Our systems aren't artificial intelligence, they're extended human consciousness." The breakthrough had come from an unexpected source. Research into quantum entanglement had revealed that human consciousness itself could serve as a quantum observer, collapsing probability waves in predictable patterns. When properly integrated with quantum technology, a human pilot could process information and react at speeds that made traditional computers look primitive. In the Atacama Desert, Dr. Carlos Rivera supervised the final calibration of the quantum weapon arrays. Traditional kinetic weapons or energy beams would be useless against their technology, he explained to the United Earth Defense Council. But these, he gestured to the crystalline structures rising from the desert floor. These weapons don't attack their ships directly. They attack probability itself. The quantum weapons operated on principles that would have seemed like magic just decades ago. By manipulating quantum states at a massive scale, they could alter the probability of specific events occurring within their target area. Enemy shields could suddenly fail, not because they were overwhelmed, but because the quantum probability of their continued function was reduced to near zero. But humanity's greatest weapon remained hidden in plain sight, its ability to adapt and innovate. While the Nexarians relied on technology refined over millennia, humanity had achieved in decades what took other species centuries. The pressure of the ultimatum had only accelerated this process. In training facilities worldwide, pilots like Sarah Halvorsen pushed the boundaries of what was possible with the new technology. Each session revealed new applications, new tactics that no alien race would expect. The neural interfaces evolved with each use, the quantum systems learning and adapting along with their human partners. They think giving us 48 hours was generous, Elena told the global command staff. They think it means we'll have time to accept our defeat. Instead, we've had 48 hours to deploy technology we've spent years perfecting. Technology they can't detect because they don't know it's possible. The Nexarian scans showed only what they expected to see, a primitive species scrambling in panic. Their sensors, designed to detect conventional energy signatures and technological emissions, were blind to the quantum-based systems humanity have developed. In her quantum dry ship, now docked in a hidden lunar facility, Sarah reviewed the combat data from her latest simulation. The neural interface allowed her to process information at unprecedented speeds, analyzing multiple combat scenarios simultaneously. Each pilot brought their own innovations to the system, and through the quantum consciousness network, these insights were shared and refined across the entire defense force. Remember, Elena's voice echoed through the quantum comm, we're not just fighting for survival. We're fighting to show them that humanity's potential cannot be contained or controlled. When they came to subjugate us, they instead gave us the opportunity to reveal who we truly are. As the deadline approached, humanity's hidden arsenal stood ready. Quantum dry ships waited in dimensional pockets just outside normal space. Consciousness-linked weapons arrays hummed with potential energy. And 300 pilots, their minds expanded beyond normal human limits through quantum integration, prepared to show the Nexarians why threatening Earth had been their greatest mistake. The time for hiding was over. Humanity was about to demonstrate that innovation, determination, and the indomitable human spirit were weapons more powerful than any alien technology. Defiance rising. The Nexarian fleet darkened Earth's skies, their crystalline ships forming geometric patterns that seemed to mock the chaos of human civilization below. Sovereign Commander Vexthor stood on his command deck, multiple sensory arrays focused on the primitive defenses his scans had detected. Their time expires, he announced to his command staff. Begin the subjugation protocol. But as the Nexarian weapons powered up, something changed. Throughout their formation, quantum probability fields began to fluctuate in impossible ways. Before Vexthor could process this anomaly, humanity struck. Sarah Halvorsen led the first wave. Her consciousness spread across quantum space as she guided her ship through dimensions the Nexarians had never mastered. One moment, the alien fleet hung in perfect formation. The next, quantum dry ships materialized inside their carefully calculated defensive screens. All pilots, execute Protocol Prometheus, Sarah commanded through the quantum network. 300 vessels, each guided by a consciousness operating at quantum speeds, engaged simultaneously. The Nexarians found themselves facing an enemy that seemed to ignore the basic laws of physics. In Geneva, Alina Santos and the Defense Council watched through quantum-linked displays as humanity's true capabilities were finally revealed. The alien ships, despite their advanced technology, couldn't track vessels that could shift between quantum states faster than their sensors could process. Their tactical computers are trying to predict our movements, Maya Patel reported, monitoring the quantum data streams. But they can't. Human intuition, amplified through quantum consciousness, is giving us an advantage they never expected. The Nexarian formation, perfected over millennia of combat, began to break apart. Their weapons, designed to engage targets moving in predictable patterns through normal space, couldn't lock onto ships that existed in multiple quantum states simultaneously. Vexthor watched in disbelief as his fleet's superior numbers meant nothing against an enemy that fought like no species he'd encountered in centuries of warfare. Impossible, he hissed through crystalline vocal structures. Their technology was primitive. We scanned their world thoroughly. But humanity had hidden its greatest advances behind a veil of quantum uncertainty. Now that veil was lifted, and the full force of human innovation was unleashed. From the quantum weapon arrays hidden across Earth's surface, Dr. Rivera initiated the probability cascade. Targeted quantum fields began to alter the very fabric of reality around key Nexarian vessels. Shield generators that had functioned perfectly for centuries suddenly failed, not through force, but because the quantum probability of their continued operation approached zero. They relied too heavily on certainty, Alina explained to the global command staff. Their technology is advanced, but it's predictable. They never considered that we could change the rules of reality itself. Sarah's quantum drag ship danced through the chaos, her enhanced consciousness processing combat data faster than any artificial system. Through the neural interface, she felt rather than saw the opportunities in quantum space, moving her vessel through possibilities rather than physical locations. Squadron leaders, initiate attack pattern Delta, she commanded. The human fleet moved as one, their quantum-linked consciousness allowing for coordination that bordered on precognition. Where the Nexarians expected to find empty space, humanity's ships appeared. Where they concentrated their defenses, the human vessels simply ceased to exist in that quantum state, reappearing where the aliens were most vulnerable. In lunar orbit, Admiral Chen watched with fierce pride as humanity's defenders systematically dismantled the alien fleet's tactical advantages. They thought we'd fight like every other race they conquered, he observed. They never considered that we'd develop something entirely new. The battle reached its climax when Sarah led her squadron in a direct assault on Vexthor's command ship. The Nexarian vessel, despite its massive size and power, couldn't defend against attacks coming from quantum states its sensors couldn't even detect. Your dominion ends here, Sarah transmitted as her quantum weapons engage. Earth is not yours to take. The command ship's crystal structure began to fracture, quantum probability fields causing catastrophic failures throughout its systems. Vexthor, facing defeat for the first time in his long existence, gave the order he'd never expected to give. All vessels, emergency withdrawal, he commanded. Retreat to safe space. The Nexarian fleet, or what remained of it, began to disengage. Their perfect formation was shattered, their confidence broken by an enemy that had completely upended their understanding of what was possible. As the alien ships fled Earth's orbit, humanity's defenders maintained their vigilance. This was only the first battle, and everyone knew the Nexarians would return with new tactics and greater numbers. But something fundamental had changed. They came expecting to find primitives. Alina addressed the Global Defense Network. Instead, they found humanity at its finest, innovative, adaptable, and utterly unwilling to submit. Let them return. We'll be ready. In her quantum dry ship, Sarah watched the retreat through both normal and quantum senses. The neural interface showed her possibilities branching through quantum space. Future battles, new challenges, humanity's continued evolution. The Nexarians had intended to control humanity's development. Instead, they had become the catalyst for its greatest leap forward. The first test was over. Humanity had not just survived, it had triumphed. But as the quantum sensors detected new energy signatures at the edge of the solar system, everyone knew the real war was just beginning. The turning point. The quantum sensors detected them first, a massive fleet emerging from hyperspace at the edge of the solar system. The Nexarians had returned, and they'd brought reinforcements. 3 times the size of their original invasion force, the crystalline armada stretched across space like a glittering web of deadly intent. Grand Admiral Nexthul, Supreme Commander of the Dominion's forces, had taken personal command. His predecessor's failure had shaken the Nexarian leadership's confidence, and he was determined to restore it. This time, they were prepared for humanity's quantum tricks. Their technology is impressive, he admitted to his war council, but it is still young. We have had millennia to perfect our arts. They cannot hope to match our experience. But humanity had not been idle. In the weeks since the first battle, Earth's defenders had evolved. The quantum consciousness network had expanded, allowing for deeper integration between human minds and their advanced technology. Each pilot was now a quantum entity unto themselves, their consciousness existing partially outside normal spacetime. Sarah Halvorsen stood in the new Quantum Command Center beneath the Himalayas, her awareness spread across multiple dimensions through the enhanced neural interface. They've adapted their shields, she reported, sensing the complex energy patterns radiating from the alien fleet. They're trying to block our quantum state shifts. Elena Santos nodded, studying the multidimensional displays. As we expected. Maya, show them what you've been working on. Dr. Maya Patil activated the quantum forge networks. Across Earth, new technologies awakened, not just weapons and defenses, but tools that rewrote the rules of reality itself. They think they can predict us now, she said with quiet confidence. They're about to learn that humanity's greatest strength isn't our technology. It's our ability to transcend its limitations. The battle began in Mars' orbit. The Nexarian fleet, having learned from their previous defeat, spread out in a complex 3-dimensional formation designed to counter quantum state shifting. Their new weapons fired streams of crystalline projectiles that could track through multiple probability states. But humanity had anticipated this. As the alien barrage approached Earth's defenders, Sarah initiated Protocol Ascension. The quantum dry ships didn't just shift states, they transcended them entirely. The human pilots, their consciousness expanded beyond normal perception, guided their vessels through layers of reality the Nexarians hadn't even discovered. Impossible. Nexthul raged as his carefully planned attack met empty space. Where are they? The answer came as humanity's fleet materialized from dimensions beyond the Nexarians' understanding. The quantum weapons had evolved too, no longer simply altering probabilities, but rewriting the fundamental laws of physics in localized areas. Alien ships found their advanced technology failing not because it was damaged, but because the very rules it operated on had changed. All squadrons, execute Battle Plan Omega, Sarah commanded through the quantum network. The human fleet moved with impossible coordination, each pilot's expanded consciousness allowing them to perceive and react to events before they even occurred. They weren't just fighting in space, they were fighting through time itself. Dr. Carlos Rivera's quantum weapon arrays added to the chaos, creating zones where probability itself became a weapon. Nexarian ships found themselves trapped in probability bubbles where every possible failure occurred simultaneously. Their crystalline hulls shattered across multiple dimensions, each piece existing in a different quantum state. But the Nexarians were not easily defeated. Nexthul unveiled their own adaptation, ships that could generate quantum nullification fields. Let's see how well their tricks work when the very laws they exploit cease to function, he declared. It was the moment humanity had been waiting for. Elena gave the signal, and Maya activated the quantum consciousness cascade. Every human pilot, every defender linked to the network, suddenly expanded their awareness to its full potential. They became quantum beings themselves, their consciousness no longer bound by the limits of physical reality. "We aren't using the quantum laws," Sarah transmitted to the Nexarian command ship. "We have become them." The battle that followed would be remembered for generations. Human ships moved with impossible grace, their pilots existing simultaneously across multiple timelines, choosing the most advantageous outcome from infinite possibilities. The Nexarian nullification fields proved useless against beings who had transcended the very concepts they were trying to suppress. In a desperate gambit, Nexthul ordered his fleet to concentrate fire on Earth itself. "If we cannot defeat their ships, we will destroy their world." But humanity had prepared for this too. The quantum forge networks activated their final protocol, and Earth itself became enveloped in a field of pure probability manipulation. The combined consciousness of every defender created a shield that didn't just stop the Nexarian weapons, it erased the possibility of their success from reality itself. "You still don't understand." Elena's voice echoed across all frequencies. "We're not just fighting you with technology. We're fighting you with the combined will of humanity itself, expressed through quantum mechanics. Your defeat isn't just probable, it's inevitable." The turning point came when Sarah led a strike team directly into the heart of the Nexarian formation. Their ships, guided by consciousness that existed outside normal time, executed maneuvers that seemed to defy causality itself. They weren't just attacking Nexthul's flagship, they were attacking every possible version of it across multiple quantum realities. The Nexarian command ship, pride of their fleet, didn't just fall. It ceased to exist as a coherent quantum entity. Nexthul's final transmission was cut short as his vessel collapsed into a singularity of its own making, trapped in a loop of quantum probability that had no favorable outcome. Without their supreme commander, the Nexarian fleet fell into disarray. Their rigid hierarchy, once a strength, became their greatest weakness. Ships began retreating in small groups, their carefully planned formations dissolving into chaos. As the alien fleet fled, humanity's defenders maintained their quantum vigil. This victory was more than just a military triumph. It was proof that humanity's path to the stars would be uniquely its own. They had not just matched the Nexarians' technological prowess, they had transcended it entirely. "They'll be back," Sarah observed, her consciousness still spanning multiple realities. "But when they return, they'll find we've evolved even further." Elena smiled, watching the quantum probability streams that showed countless possible futures. That's what they never understood about humanity. We don't just adapt, we transform, and we're just getting started. Victory and beyond. The Nexarian Dominion's High Council convened in their crystalline citadel, the first emergency session in 10,000 years. The quantum space transmissions from Earth had shaken their civilization to its core. Not only had humanity defeated their greatest fleet, but they had done so by mastering principles the Nexarians had thought impossible. They've achieved in months what took us centuries. First Speaker's X-Ray observed, her crystalline form vibrating with concern. And they show no signs of slowing their advancement. Before the Council could debate further, new quantum signatures appeared in their home system. Humanity had brought the war to them, but not in the way they expected. Instead of warships, a single quantum drive vessel materialized in their space, piloted by Sarah Halvorsen and carrying Dr. Elena Santos. "We come with an offer." Elena's transmission reached the Nexarian High Council, one that reflects humanity's true nature. On Earth, the quantum consciousness network had evolved beyond its military origins. The technology that had won the war was being adapted for peaceful purposes, transforming human society in ways no one had predicted. Maya Patel's quantum forge networks were solving energy crises and environmental challenges. Carlos Rivera's probability manipulation was revolutionizing medicine and scientific research. We could continue this conflict. Elena addressed the council, her words translated perfectly through quantum mechanics itself. We could use our quantum consciousness technology to dismantle your empire piece by piece, but that's not who we are. Sarah's enhanced consciousness detected the shock rippling through the Nexarian leadership. They had expected revenge, or at least demands for reparations. Instead, humanity was offering something unprecedented. "Your civilization has achieved incredible things," Elena continued. "You've mastered technologies we're only beginning to understand. But you've also stagnated, bound by traditions and assumptions that are millennia old. We propose a partnership." The council chamber erupted in discussion. Partner with a species they had attempted to subjugate. It seemed impossible. Yet the evidence of humanity's capabilities was undeniable, and their own defeat had proven the limitations of their ancient approaches. Back on Earth, Admiral Chen and the Defense Council watched through quantum links as humanity's offer was presented. The plan was audacious, a complete restructuring of galactic civilization based on cooperation rather than dominion. "We bring fresh perspectives," Elena explained to the Nexarians. "You have experience and established infrastructure. Together, we could achieve things neither of our species could manage alone." The quantum consciousness technology that had won the war became the foundation for a new form of diplomatic communication. Human consciousness, able to span multiple realities and transcend normal spacetime, could bridge gaps between species that traditional methods couldn't reach. "Your attempt to conquer us forced humanity to reveal its true potential," Sarah addressed the council. "Now we offer you the chance to be part of what comes next." The decision wasn't immediate, but it was inevitable. The Nexarians, despite their rigid traditions, were logical beings. The choice between continuing a war they couldn't win and joining humanity in its quantum evolution was clear. As the peace accords were signed, transmitted simultaneously across quantum states to all corners of known space, humanity's influence spread rapidly. Other species, many of whom had suffered under Nexarian dominion, sought alliance with Earth. They saw in humanity not just military strength, but the potential for transformation. The quantum consciousness network expanded, adapting to incorporate different forms of awareness and cognition. Alien perspectives added new dimensions to human understanding, while Earth's innovative spirit catalyzed changes throughout galactic society. Dr. Maya Patil led the development of quantum integration protocols that allowed different species to share consciousness safely, creating understanding that transcended physical limitations. "We're not just exploring space anymore," she explained during the first Interspecies Quantum Summit. "We're exploring the very nature of existence itself." The Nexarians, freed from their ancient restrictions, experienced a renaissance. Their crystalline technology, combined with human quantum consciousness innovations, opened new frontiers in science and exploration. The same formations that had once threatened Earth now housed research centers and diplomatic hubs. Sarah Halvorsen became humanity's first quantum ambassador, her consciousness able to communicate simultaneously with multiple species across vast distances. The combat techniques that had defended Earth evolved into protocols for peaceful exploration and understanding. "They thought they were coming to guide our evolution," Elena reflected during the 10th anniversary of First Contact. "Instead, they became part of it. That's humanity's greatest strength. We don't just adapt to change. We transform it into something greater than anyone imagined possible." The quantum probability streams showed countless possible futures, each brighter than the last. Humanity had not just survived its trial by fire. It had emerged as a catalyst for galactic evolution. The consciousness that had defended Earth now reached for the stars, not to conquer, but to connect and create. "We were never meant to be conquered," Sarah transmitted across the quantum network that now spanned hundreds of worlds. "We were meant to show the galaxy a new way forward." And in the quantum spaces between traditional reality, humanity's influence continued to grow, transforming not just technology and society, but the very nature of what was possible. The species that had come to subjugate Earth had instead unleashed its greatest potential, proving once again that humanity's greatest weapon was not its technology, but its ability to imagine and create a future beyond anyone's expectations. The war was over, but humanity's journey was just beginning. In the vast quantum expanse of space, the species that had once been dismissed as primitives now led the way toward a future where consciousness itself transcended the boundaries of what any civilization had thought possible. This wasn't just victory, it was transformation, and it was only the beginning.